Welcome back, Banter fam, to the most alpha pack show on YouTube where I stream live every day to give you guys the best crypto DeFi strategies and tips to help you succeed in this crazy market. I'll be streaming live every single day at 1:30 a.m. EST to keep you guys up to speed with what's happening, how I'm maneuvering my portfolio, and giving you guys the best strategies possible to optimize yield. Today, we're going to be combining two of the strongest narratives in crypto, DeFi and gaming, to show you how to earn passive income through gaming. It's going to be a super awesome show. I've got Hustle on to join me later. It's going to be an absolute awesome one. You won't want to miss it. Let's get straight into it. In today's show, we are going to be diving into one of the best strategies in crypto gaming to be able to earn passive income. We're going to talk about the play to earn space and some of the potential where DeFi meets gaming, as I believe that is the future of crypto. Of course, in a minute, I'm going to get Hustle on to explain a little bit more about these games because he is the gaming expert. But I just want to jump in before we go into that stuff and look at what's happening in the market right now, because there's been some huge developments on the Bitcoin side. We saw Bitcoin have a push up from the 41K region up to 44K, which is a super positive sign. And it indicates to me that we could potentially be entering a new cycle. Remember, we want to be cyclists here. We want to be getting in and out of the market at the opportune times. And it's looking like we are setting up for potentially another leg up with some of these altcoins, which is something we really want to keep our eye on, because in order to profit in this market, we want to position ourselves in the right projects, in the right narratives, to be able to take full advantage of when this market truly goes parabolic, when that is. And obviously, gaming and DeFi are two of those narratives that can really perform strongly against the rest of the market. With the Bitcoin dominance, this is a super important one to note right now. We actually have had a little push down from the Bitcoin dominance over the past day, down a couple percent. Obviously, Bitcoin dominance has had a nice rally upwards, which is a good sign that we're seeing a little reset here in the market, resetting back into a new cycle, which is really good to see, because obviously we've had a major downtrend in the dominance over a long period of time. And in order to kind of reset and set up for these alts, we need a push up in the dominance to indicate that we are on track for a new cycle. So I like what I'm seeing from the dominance, but alts are showing some real strength right now. And that is something really important to note at the moment. Over the past 24 hours and more, we've seen a nice push up in some of these alts. Avalanche up over 10%. Phantom is up over 9% over the 2 days. So we are seeing a nice bit of strength come in with these altcoins. And that is why I like to say that now is the time to be educating yourself on this market. Now is the time to really start investing into bettering your own knowledge and learning more about this market. Because if we are going to be entering a new cycle and start seeing some push up, some major push-ups from some of these alts, you want to be in the best position possible with your own education to profit. And that's why we are here every single day to give you guys the best information in crypto. So now is really the time to be doubling down on your research. Don't wait until the market is pumping to get stuck into research. We want to be getting stuck into it right now and identifying the narratives that are really, really strong. So that is why watching these shows is such a good time investment, in my opinion. Me, Hustle, Rand, Sheldon, we put in hours of research every single day, and we deliver it into a nice package for all of you guys, a nice 25-minute package to be able to learn more about this market. So 25 minutes of time and you're getting exposure to hours of research. That's a pretty good deal in my opinion. So you're in the right place just being here. And right now, I want to get on Hustle to the show because we have to talk gaming, because if this market is going to get a nice push up, we want to be able to be in the right narratives to be able to benefit. So, Hustle, welcome to the show. This is our first stream together.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you
excited to
for being
join.
here.
Yeah, excited to join you. The hours aren't ideal, the most ideal as far as Aussie to US, but we make things work around here. We make things work. I'm happy to join you and talk some gaming.
Yeah, I mean it's really awesome. I think gaming is definitely one of the strongest narratives in crypto, and that's exactly why we're here. Because if we look over the past day or so, we've seen a major push up in gaming. Over the last 24 hours, something like Ultra is already up, 21%. So we're seeing the real strong narratives kind of separate themselves from the rest of the market now, and it looks like gaming is one of those narratives.
Definitely. Like when you see Bitcoin bounce a couple percent, it's like gaming's always leading the charge. It's bouncing 25, 30% in those same periods. So definitely it's showing that relative strength when we do bounce. So like if we I could only imagine what gaming's gonna look like if we do run back up to like 50K, for example, which is
Mm,
bound to happen. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, excited to get into it. And there's a lot of opportunities out here to make your money, whether it's tokens, whether it's de- gamified DeFi, as we'll talk about in this video. So a lot of
mm.
options out there.
For sure, heaps and heaps of options. I did a tweet yesterday I'd like to get your opinion on. I said, does anyone get this constant fuck, we're early feeling? Was just talking to someone about crypto gaming and how we're still 5+ years away from true AAA games, yet the total game market is sub 30 billion. So, for perspective, the total gaming market right now is less than half the market cap of Activision. So, if crypto gaming can capture even a small percentage of the entire gaming market, there's huge scope for growth here. And I still think we are a few years away from these kind of major blockbuster titles, but that's providing huge opportunities, right? Because we're just so early.
Yeah, and that's about the valuation of Dogecoin too.
Yeah.
That 30 billion is about the valuation of Dogecoin. So I think that we have so much room to go, and just the sector of growth, the liquidity that flows through some of these games. I mean, the amount of money, the volume that's being transacted on these games, it speaks for itself. I think that the valuations in the space are definitely way undervalued at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got an entire sector, an entire gaming sector with the same market cap as Dogecoin, I mean, that's a real indication to me that in the future there could be huge scope for growth here. And there's no better narrative right now than obviously some of these play to earn games, because we want to be able to earn income whilst we are in a downwards trend, and we also want to be able to exacerbate our returns during an upwards trend. So I think the real beauty about some of these passive income strategies is that we can profit no matter whether the market's going up or down, and we can enhance our returns when the market is pumping because we're able to accumulate more coins in the meantime. So you actually did a tweet yesterday and you said play to earn slash passive plays are the real money makers right now. You pointed out Pegaxi, Krabata, DeFi Kingdoms, and Unicorns. So some of these can provide some good opportunities to earn yield.
Yeah, I'm definitely full degen right now on a lot of different levels. I've got my nose in the sand in a couple different places right now, but it's definitely paying off. And if you're early enough and you catch this like the trend, and you're able to kind of see where the players are looking and where the guilds are looking. I emphasize that a lot, but if you just kind of maybe look where the guilds are looking, because they talk to these games before they make their
Mm.
big investments, and they're not going to put 300,000, for example, into game assets that they don't think they're going to make their money back on. So,
Yeah, and I think yesterday, I think you did a video on that topic as well, right? Looking into some of the kind of undervalued plays in the space that maybe haven't popped yet. So if you want to check out that video, I think you raised some really good points.
yeah, that was exactly yesterday's topics. Kind of just stuff that's not like Pegaxi and Krabata or the DeFi kingdoms, like we'll talk about here in this video as well. But stuff that's not on that main, that top tier level, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Things that would be like right under it.
Yeah, and I guess the reason I wanted to talk about DeFi Kingdoms today, even though it's already a project that's gained a lot of traction, is because it's kind of interesting to see the intersection of where DeFi meets kind of crypto gaming. So I think it's a really good example of potentially the power of this combination between DeFi and gaming. So I think it's still got a lot of legs to go, and I think DeFi Kingdoms is one of the most interesting projects in the space. So I think we should do a little bit of a dive right now into DeFi Kingdoms and give some examples of how to actually take advantage of this ecosystem.
I'm all in to discuss it because I love it and they have so much in the pipeline. I think that some people see it on a shallower level and they don't maybe know what's to come with DeFi Kingdoms. And one thing too, I'm sure you'll have it, the dominance that they provide over the Harmony blockchain
Mm-hmm.
speaks for itself. And then on top of that, when you look at DeFi Kingdoms, I mean, yeah, just pull up that TVL if you
And
could,
this is
because it's
wrong too. It's actually $1
yeah,
billion, so it's pretty much 70% of the entire, or 60% of the entire TVL on Harmony is DeFi Kingdoms, which is
right.
insane.
That speaks for itself, and you can get involved in multiple different ways. So and I think there's an education factor here because it could teach DeFi people crypto gaming to a certain extent, and then it
Mm.
can also teach the gaming people DeFi with the LP and all that good stuff. So a lot to dig
Yeah, I
into.
mean, yeah. It's exactly what's happening with kind of my experience with gaming. I wasn't, super into gaming recently, but things like DeFi Kingdoms offer that good bridge for people that are more experienced with DeFi and, want to get a feel for gaming. And as you said as well, the gamers that maybe not necessarily have that much experience with DeFi, it's kind of intersecting both communities, which I think is really powerful. And we've seen a little bit of a pullback in the DeFi Kingdoms TVL and also the dual price here. It's at, I think, 788. I know there's a lot of farming that's going on, so the emissions is something to factor in as well. But we've seen a pullback, so it could now be a better time to be getting involved.
I think it is definitely a good time to be looking. And I'm always of the opinion, and I reaped the rewards last time that Phantom, because I have a lot of money in Tomb LPs. So just
Mm,
a liquidity pool example. I remember when Phantom dipped after their Phantom conference in, I think September. They had a
yeah,
Phantom Dev
October.
conference around the fall, and
Mm,
the price dipped afterwards. And all I thought was, this is time for me to accumulate more tokens because when we go
mm.
back up, I'm gonna have more of each of these tokens in my LPs, and like every bit that I've been stacking up, and it definitely the rewards were there whenever the market went back up. So
Mm,
I
exactly. You
think
don't want
that
to be buying these pumps. You want to be buying the dips when we're at $8. That's a much better position, a much better risk reward proposition than entering in at these highs. I think DeFi Kingdoms even wicked up to 25 at its peak a few months ago. So we are seeing some better entries, not just on DeFi Kingdoms, but across the gaming market. We've seen some big drawdowns over the past week, but that only spells opportunity in my opinion. As we said, there's so much scope for growth in this space, and that's why I'm starting to dedicate more time and capital to learning more about it.
And with DeFi Kingdoms, the level that they're at on Harmony is it's safe enough. It's basically the biggest Harmony DEX because you can go in
Mm,
there and on the marketplace and you can just trade right there. So you're
ex-
basically talking
mm,
about a crossover between Harmony's biggest game and Harmony's biggest DEX. So it's literally like a solid cross there. And they're
yeah,
all
yeah.
also bridging to Avalanche soon. I don't know if you know that.
I have it
Um,
here actually. They announced this at the latest conference. They are going. DeFi Kingdoms is launching on Avalanche. Yeah, and I think that's going to be massive. I think they're planning on going onto 3 or 4 chains as well over the next few years. So it's going to be a real cross-chain experience. And the dual token, correct me if I'm wrong, is still going to be the centerpiece on Avalanche as well. So the more users that are kind of being brought into the ecosystem through different chains, I mean, the better it is for dual token holders at the end of the day, as more players are exposed to DeFi Kingdoms.
Yeah, and as I see someone mention in the chat, there will be the crystal token as well. There will be an airdrop eventually for the crystal token that will be introduced, but Jewel will be the dominant token in the ecosystem, regardless. But yeah, there will be an
Yeah.
airdrop for people that are staking in the bank because I think some people also, the bank is single sided staking. So if you're out there and you're scared of impermanent loss, there is single sided staking in the bank, and I would actually recommend, regardless, putting a couple of Jewel in there because that's where you can qualify for some of those airdrops as well.
Yeah, and I think just before we get into how to actually do this, we should probably explain to some people they may not know what DeFi Kingdoms is, how it kind of works. Let's go back to basics and kind of just run the people through what DeFi Kingdom is and kind of how the game is based.
Yeah, so basically, what I always term it as gamified DeFi, and right now it kind of pulls up. And do you have the gate perfect? So yeah, it
Hmm.
pulls up like a game map here, and as we see the different types and the different places on the map that you can check out, we have the marketplace where you go and you can trade. So you can click on like the trader, for example, or you could click on the druid, and you're actually able to swap out your tokens, and you're right inside the interface. So you can come into this game, and it's a fun little way, right? So many exchanges are just Uniswap's like the most boring thing to use, right? It's just so
Mm,
plain. There's no fun in that. You're just like, come on, hurry up, click, click. But in here, you're like actually going through, having fun. The music's very therapeutic. Like you're
yeah.
having like a peaceful experience within the game. So yeah, you can come to the marketplace. You can pair up your liquidity, stuff like that, and then you can go to like the gardens where the LPs are. There's so much like I love just the interaction that they added here. So like
Yeah.
professions, if you own heroes, which are like the characters, you can actually do quests for your characters and level them up in the professions tab. In the jeweler where the bank is, that's where you would single-sided stake. So yeah, there's a lot
Mm.
of dimensions here, which I love.
And this is kind of my view on crypto gaming as well. And I think DeFi Kingdoms really encapsulates this. It's that the thing with DeFi is that, it's great, but it doesn't have that mass appeal necessarily because, as you said, you've got interfaces like Uniswap, which are kind of, it can be a bit boring and dull, and it can't really capture and keep an audience locked. We see a lot of kind of Ponzi-esque tokens coming in, people just farming them just to stake, just to farm. There's no actual next layer, and that's why I think play-to-earn games are so valuable because they're encapsulating an audience through the game, through the interest of the interface and how fun the game is pretty much. And they're also adding that DeFi element. So it's like the best of both worlds because, yeah, you can still earn from the LPs. You can still profit off these games, but you're also getting the double benefit of having that appeal to like the gaming audience. And it's also engaging an audience, in a more effective fashion than something like a Uniswap would be, for example. So I think DeFi Kingdoms has really done this really well because, as we said, it's basically a DEX. Like it's one of the biggest. It is the biggest DEX on Harmony, and it has over 800 million TVL. But it's also a game, and I think that's something really valuable that a lot of other projects might start implementing in the future. Kind of making it a little more interesting than your typical DEX.
And not to mention, they've grown it into the biggest decks and the dominant player on Harmony. All the while, their game right now is being built out. Their player versus player is also on the way. So right now, it's mainly DeFi, the functionality of the game. But they're actually having, as they see here, their battle system, PVE and PvP. That
Mm.
format will be on the way soon. So that's where people who have been reaping the rewards of owning a hero and level them up in the professions tab, where you would just go click professions real quick down the bottom left there. Yeah, perfect. So, like, if you have a gardener, you could add them to your LP, and it actually provides a super small boost to your LP every couple of hours. You can see the fisher. You can send your fishermen off for fishing missions, for supplies and stuff like that. So there's actually different types of little mini games and quests you can do right now, but these are leading up
Mm.
to the future of the game where you can actually like do PvP, player versus player, with characters.
So I guess right now the whole game kind of does center around the gardens. It's like you're wanting to maximize your dual rewards through these LPs, and then essentially some of these quests and the heroes are kind of adding to your ability to earn income. So let's run the people through how to actually stake in the gardens because a lot of people with a DeFi background, might want to get involved here and take advantage of this model. So I did a little bit of research and I actually did some LPing before on the gardens. So we can go into the gardens here. And if you click on Seed Box, you can see a list of all the LPs that are on offer here, and they're paying some pretty nice returns. I mean, Jewel won, as we saw. Jewel has a big dominance over Harmony. These are fairly similar tokens in a way. That's paying 276%. Jewel Phantom even 258%. I think Jewel UST is also 241%. So some pretty attractive yields are coming in here for these LPs. Obviously, you have to be wary of impermanent loss, but especially if you can start boosting these APRs with your NFTs, I think there's some serious money to be made in these pools.
Yeah, and even I mean, even the pools regardless right now are pretty solid, especially with the dominance they do have over the chain. Some of the pools, even
Mm.
though they do have solid amount of TVL, they're still paying out quite a bit.
So what are your favorite pools here? What would you kind of, if you're just getting into DeFi Kingdoms, where would you start? Would you start maybe Jewel 1, something native to the ecosystem?
Yeah, I do Jewel 1 because Jewel and 1 definitely seem to run quite a bit together because of
Mm.
how dominant Jewel is over the chain. So whenever the chain or Harmony 1 is doing well, Jewel seems to just kind of follow suit a little bit. And then vice versa. It seems like if Jewel's doing well, 1 gets picked up just a little bit. So
Yeah.
I've kind of seen that both ways. I do a little bit of so there's a you can bridge over. There was something in the past where you can bridge over some Jewel, or bridge over some Jewel from the AVAX chain, or basically do a bridge from Avalanche to Harmony, or vice versa, and you would qualify for an airdrop. So I'm doing Jewel and Avalanche also
Mm.
because they will future be on the same chain, like we saw there, the cross chain integration. So
Do
my
you remember
thought
what
is
the name
there.
of the bridge is? Do you remember what bridge that's called? If people want to bridge from Avalanche.
I'll have to get that information. I'll have to get that information because it was basically just if you bridged your Jewel tokens over,
Oh,
it
okay,
would
yeah.
qualify you for an airdrop. So I did
Yeah,
that. So
so
I have some Jewel Avalanche, and I do have one with Jewel and stable coins just to reduce one side of the impermanent loss. But I'm really not a fan of the stable coin yield farming. So what's your take on that? I don't know.
in terms of like pairing a stable with a base token. Well,
Right.
I actually did a tweet on this today because and I won't get too caught up in this because I could honestly go on for days about this topic, but I said, and I've done a lot of tweets, so many people misunderstand impermanent loss. It isn't something to be scared of, it's something to take advantage of. I think the word loss scares people. And this is pretty much the gist of, what I want to get across is if the APR you're receiving outweighs the expected loss, then it's a net positive. So with these stable kind of LPs, we shouldn't be scared of maybe losing to impermanent loss if the APR at 241% is significantly outweighing the amount you're going to lose. So I don't really view it as a negative thing. I just kind of view it as, is the APR going to be enough to cover any potential loss? So that's kind of my view on LP. So I think, something like dual UST is still a good option. And I don't really worry too much about it when I'm farming. I kind of base my decisions more on APR than I do of like potential loss. But of course, you want to hedge across multiple pools, right? You don't want to be too exposed to like dual UST. You want to have a little bit of maybe dual sitting aside if in case or single stake, and in case the price really skyrockets. But just to run you guys through how to actually get your funds onto the Harmony One chain, because if you want to take advantage of these pools, you're gonna need your funds on Harmony One. And I
Also,
did a little
someone
bit of
pointed out the bridge is in the game. It's called the docks.
Okay, cool. So if we just go there, the docks.
So yeah, that would be where you would actually can bridge.
Yeah. There's three
So
bridges, yeah. Yeah. So today I kind of worked out that the Harmony bridge is probably the best way. So if you have your funds on BSC or Ethereum, you can bridge easily over to the Harmony One chain. What you'll actually need to do when you're bridging on the Harmony One bridge, obviously it's only BSC or Ethereum, so you'll need to use multi-chain to get your funds onto Binance first. You will need to use a Harmony One address. So what you do is you come onto Harmony Block Explorer, you enter your address into this search bar here. It's explorer.harmony.one, and then you can copy your Harmony One address, because you've got to remember that your one address will be different. It'll come up like this, it'll say one before it, different from your MetaMask address. So that's one thing to keep in mind when bridging over to Harmony. But it can all be done on MetaMask. So all you need is to add the Harmony network to your MetaMask, and then you can pretty much bridge over to the Harmony One chain. If you're using a centralized exchange, then you need to make sure that withdrawals are supported. The easiest way would be to purchase Harmony on an exchange and then send it across to your MetaMask wallet using your Harmony One address. That would be the easiest way to get Harmony One onto your MetaMask. So then you can start playing around with this game. As I said before, you have the DEX here under the marketplace in DeFi Kingdoms, so you can swap your Harmony One for Jewel, and then I'm pretty sure under the Druid here, that's how you create a pool. So if you want to enter, let's say, Jewel dual one and you want to enter that LP, which is paying 250%, you can come into the Druid under the marketplace and create a pool. And what creating a pool will do is enable you to come in once you've created your LP tokens and stake those LP tokens in the gardens to start earning some rewards. So that's kind of the basic gist of how to create an LP and start taking advantage of the rewards on Harmony One. It's all can be done on this interface, which I think is really cool because you don't need to leave the game. It's immersive because you still feel like you're part of the game even when you're swapping on the marketplace. So then you come into the gardens, click on seed box, and then you can deposit into any of the pools with whatever LP tokens you've created. As we said, the dual one pool is a really good one at 276%, but you can pretty much do it with whatever tokens you want. It's basically just depends on your portfolio and which pool you think offers the best risk reward in terms of APR. So I think it's super, super unique that, we have this kind of LP function, inside a game. It's not something we see all the time. And I guess that's why it's called DeFi Kingdoms.
Yeah, and one thing I really like, and I haven't even really touched on this before, is a lot of products struggle with retention, and I'm not even just talking about people using their product. I'm just talking about like clicking away. Even YouTube,
Mm.
YouTube, they value the algorithm, and if you click off a video early, YouTube, they think that's a bad thing, right? They don't want you clicking off of a video early, or they want you staying on the platform. If you're going to click off, they want the user to go from one video to another. And here they're keeping you on their platform, which is beautiful because so many chains, obviously, you have to click off of whatever you're doing to go to the DEX and then come back to whatever you're doing to finish up whatever, we're trying to pair LP or whatever you were trying to provide on a staking pool or whatever the case may be. So putting it all in one, it keeps users on their platform at all times. And here's a little bit of alpha too. I think that this could really help people. You can track your gardens, your bank, your hero gameplay, all that good stuff on dfktracker.app. It's a pretty cool website. It'll show you, you don't have to attach anything. You don't have to connect your wallet. You can just search a wallet on there, for example. So yeah, you don't have to do anything right now, for example, but you could just search a wallet, and what it would do, it would show you your 4 dimensions. So your inventory of items, what it's worth, your bank, so your single-sided staking, your gardens LP amount, and as well as your heroes value. So pretty cool tool here, and it'll show you a little bit of a breakdown of your impermanent loss. I don't think it's too accurate because it's kind of hard to judge that, right? I think that you
Yeah.
kind of just have to accept it, take it on the chin, but you're stacking up more tokens. That's where the value is, like you mentioned, the APR and the APYs that are lucrative. So pretty cool tool that I've used to kind of consolidate and keep track of my money within the ecosystem.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good tip, guys. Make sure if you're getting into DeFi Kingdoms to maybe take advantage of some of these trackers to manage your holdings. I think we've covered quite a lot to do with DeFi Kingdoms. I think it's a really good opportunity. I think it is one of the biggest games. It is one of the biggest games in crypto right now. And once we get, as we saw here, this cross-chain collaboration, obviously it's coming over to Avalanche. I think that could really onboard a lot of new users. So I have high hopes for DeFi Kingdoms. But before we wrap up here, I just want to get a couple tips. Maybe you can give us a little bit of alpha for the community that have watched the whole show. What gaming projects are you looking at right now? Maybe just one or two that you think are providing some good opportunities. Doesn't need to be from this list, but just what, in your opinion, is the play right now?
Yeah, if you watch my show out there, you'll probably have heard me talk about these projects before. But we're all about quality, and we're all about the projects that I believe are right on the cusp of blue chip. I love Ultra. Ultra speaks
Mm-hmm.
for itself. It's like the Steam of crypto gaming. Right now, their app is in beta. They have 25 games already signed to launch with them, and their goal is 75 or more by the end of the year. So we'll see what
Wow.
they can put together here. The team behind Ultra is solid, partnered with Ubisoft, stuff like that. And then my other top conviction play is Vulcan Forged. If you missed last week's show, after you smash the like button and hit the subscribe button for Miles' new DeFi show, because he's absolutely killing it.
Smash it.
We had Jamie on from Vulcan Forge, the CEO, last week on one of my shows on Friday. and they're just doing so much over there. And you look at the chart there, it's just like we're at like $14, and just it's incredible. The potential we still have there. We could go 2x, 3x from here legitimately,
Mm.
based on where all-time highs were. And just before the compromise, where some funds were compromised on their platform, we were at $20. So that was just whenever they got hacked. So it was about right there or so. There was like a steep decline
Yeah.
around
I
20
remember.
bucks.
I remember because I bought in. I remember when it was at 44, and I own no gaming projects. I was feeling the FOMO, and then it came down to like $20, and I thought I was being real smart buying this dip to 20 a couple days before the hack, and then it got hacked. Then it went down, to $10. Obviously, the market dropped as well, and then I wasn't feeling too smug after that. But I've been accumulating in this range, so luckily we've averaged averaged into some better
Good
buys now.
accumulation. Good accumulation. Because we're not even back to the pre-hack levels, which I think is super strong. So if you're buying in, I think Ultra and Vulcan Forged are pretty solid looks right now.
Yeah, no, they're two of my favorite projects as well. Obviously the gaming space is one of the biggest spaces that you want to keep your eye on if we're gonna get this next push up in crypto. You want to be getting involved with these play to earn games, getting involved with these gaming projects because it's not a narrative to sleep on. Obviously. It would be wise to allocate a percentage of your portfolio towards gaming. I think at this stage in crypto, it would be irresponsible not to. So everyone should have their eye on gaming, and you're the gaming expert. So make sure you go and check out Hustle's show. It's streaming every day. I'm sure you're doing it already, but just in case you aren't watching his show, make sure you tune into that because he drops some serious alpha for all of you. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Had a blast. Thank you for coming on. And yeah, hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, I enjoyed coming on. I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunities in the future for these DeFi gamified type of projects
Absolutely.
like DeFi Kingdoms. And I'm sure that there will also be games in the future that integrate some DeFi twists that I'll have you join my show potentially,
Mm.
even though those hours are really tough. So we'll have to figure that part out. But
Man,
uh,
that'll be hard. Maybe that'll be really difficult. I think it's like 3 or 4 a.m.
yeah,
Whenever Ran asked me to come onto the main show, I'm like, oh, like I'd love to, but it's like 4 a.m. But
for
no,
sure.
we'll work something out, and who knows, we could be on the same time zone at some point in the near future to be able to collab more easily. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to the show. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe for more awesome crypto content. I've had a blast today sharing some of the gaming alpha with you guys with Hustle. Hope you have a lovely day. See you in the next one. Peace out.